right, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into Tony Robbins' Unshakeable. Think of it as your playbook for achieving not just financial freedom, but real peace of mind, especially when the world feels, well, anything but stable. Let's jump right in. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by the world of finance, you are definitely not alone. In fact, you're in pretty good company. As the legendary investor Howard Marks says, feeling confused is actually a sign that you're paying attention. So let's just start there and acknowledge that feeling. It's totally normal. So where does all that confusion come from? Well, we're living in a world of really deep uncertainty. The aftershocks from the 2008 crisis, we're still feeling them. And central banks are trying out policies we've literally never seen before. It's a very strange, very new world for all of us. I mean, just think back for a second. Do you remember that sheer panic of 2008? That feeling like the whole global economy was just coming apart at the seams? Maybe your 401k got crushed, or your home's value just plummeted. Fear was everywhere. And that anxiety, that feeling that the system is on the edge, it hasn't completely gone away, has it? This slide, wow, it tells such a powerful story. So Tony Robbins is sitting down with Alan Greenspan, right? The guy who steered the US economy for almost 20 years. And Tony asks him, what's the one thing you would do today if you were Fed chairman? Greenspan just pauses, leans in and says one word, resign. Think about that. If he's baffled, it is perfectly okay for the rest of us to feel a little lost. Okay, but here's the good news. You don't have to figure all this out by yourself. That's really where this book comes in. See, Tony didn't invent these strategies. He basically went on this incredible quest to be a translator for the rest of us, decoding the wisdom of the world's greatest financial minds. And I mean, this guy got personal access to the titans of the financial universe. We're talking people like Ray Dalio, the most successful hedge fund manager in history, Jack Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, and yeah, even Warren Buffett. He sat down with these masters of the money game to boil down all their secrets into a simple playbook that anyone can use. And you don't just have to take my word for it. The credibility here comes from the masters themselves. Jack Bogle, the man who basically invented the index fund, said what was supposed to be a 45-minute chat with Tony turned into a 4-hour marathon session. He saw that Tony's passion could translate these complex ideas and make a huge difference for everyday investors. And it's not just Bogle. Ray Dalio, another absolute legend, says the same thing. He says Tony has this amazing knack for making the complex simple, for taking these high-level strategies that built fortunes and turning them into practical steps you and I can actually follow. So, after talking to all these geniuses, what's the number one takeaway? What's the biggest lesson? It's actually super simple, and honestly, it's incredibly empowering. You don't have to guess what the market's going to do next. The people who win this game don't predict the future. They focus like a laser on the things they can actually control. That's what lets them win no matter what happens. All right, so let's dig into that first big thing we can control, our own fear. We're going to tackle the number one enemy for every investor, that paralyzing fear you feel when the market crashes. Tony Robbins tells this great story that just perfectly captures this feeling. Imagine a monk walking down a path at night, and all of a sudden, he sees it, a coiled, poisonous snake right in his way. He completely panics and runs for his life. That heart-pounding terror, that is exactly what most of us feel when we see the market start to tank. But the next morning, the monk goes back, and in the clear light of day, he sees the truth. That terrifying snake, it was just a harmless piece of old rope. And the lesson here is so powerful. What we fear most in the market is very often just a misinterpretation of what's actually happening. And here's the thing. History shows us, time and time again, that market downturns are a normal part of the cycle. They are temporary, we know they're going to happen, we just don't know exactly when. And for the investor who's prepared, they aren't a snake to be feared. They're an opportunity to be seized. Preparation turns that fear into power. Okay, so we have talked about fear. That's enemy number one. But enemy number two, it's a little sneakier. It's like a silent killer of your wealth that just eats away at your money without you even realizing it. We're talking about excessive fees. Just look at this number on the screen, 96%. What in the world could that represent? Well, it's a statistic that should honestly stop every single investor in their tracks. Yeah, you heard that right. A mind-boggling 96% of actively managed mutual funds, the ones where you pay an expert a hefty fee to pick stocks for you, They fail to even match the overall market in the long run. As Tony says, it's like you pay for a Ferrari, but you drive home in a beat-up old tractor. You are paying a premium for a product that just doesn't deliver. And this is where it gets painful. This is what that underperformance actually costs you in real dollars. A study found that while the stock market returned over 10% a year, the average investor only got about 3.66%. Just look at the difference. On a $50,000 investment, it's the gap between almost $1 million and less than 150 grand. It's staggering. So what's going on here? Why is there this huge gap? Well, it really boils down to two main culprits. First, you've got the vampire of high fees, just silently draining your accounts every single year. And second, you've got that inner gremlin of human emotion that makes us buy high when we're greedy and sell low when we're scared. The exact wrong thing to do at the exact wrong time. All right, so we've met the villains. We know what we're up against. Now for the fun part, the solution. Let's get into the simple, powerful rules that make up your Unshakable playbook. And we're going to start with the single most powerful force in all of finance. And this right here, this is maybe the most important slide of all. It perfectly shows the absolute magic of compounding. Let's look at Joe and Bob. Joe invests for just 8 years, from age 19 to 27. He puts in a total of about $28,000. Now look at Bob. He starts at 27 and invests for almost 40 years, contributing over $140,000. I mean, that's nearly 5 times more money. But look at the final fortune. Joe, who started early, ends up with almost $300,000 more than Bob. It's insane. That right there is the mind-blowing power of compounding. It's the force that can turn a small amount of money into an absolute fortune. The story of Joe and Bob proves it. Your most valuable asset isn't how much money you have, it's how much time you give that money to grow. Time is your single greatest ally, period. And all of this, it leads to the ultimate goal. What does it actually mean to be unshakable? See, it's not just about a number in your bank account. It's a state of mind. It's that deep, unwavering confidence that you're going to be okay no matter what storms come your way. It's true peace of mind. So I want to leave you with one final thought, one big question to think about. Yeah, the strategies in this playbook can help you build wealth, absolutely. But what if the real win, the ultimate prize in this whole journey, isn't the money at all? What if it's finally having a mind that's truly, deeply, and finally at peace?